The movie begins early in the morning with a married couple, Graham and Paige, waking up in their quiet suburban home. Graham steps outside to pick fruit from the small garden he carefully maintains. As he moves around the house, he notices something horrifying: a large group of zombies crowding outside the fence, desperately trying to get in. Surprisingly, Graham shows no fear at all, calm and emotionless. He casually walks toward them and even greets them, as if they are harmless neighbors. The zombies stretch their hands toward him, almost like children eager to play. But among them, Graham spots a familiar face: Marie, his friend, who has now turned into a zombie. He looks up and notices a rescue helicopter circling the area, searching for survivors. However, instead of signaling for help, Graham ignores it completely. Without saying a word, it becomes clear that he chooses isolation. He believes the safest place is his home, living quietly with Paige, cut off from the outside world. Rescue teams later broadcast a warning message, announcing that zombies have completely taken over the city. Graham deliberately hides this message from his wife. Paige, unlike him, feels trapped and restless. Once a passionate and talented artist, she has lost all motivation and joy. She wants to escape, but Graham refuses to leave. When Graham tells Paige that he saw her friend Marie among the zombies, she rushes outside to confirm it herself. Seeing Marie wearing her bracelet devastates her. She wants to take it back, but cannot bring herself to do so, leaving her angry and heartbroken. One day, Graham notices a wine bottle lying just outside the fence. He tries to pull it in using a stick, but it's too short. After some hesitation, he considers climbing over the fence to grab it. Fear overtakes him, and he backs down, afraid of falling into the zombies' hands. Inside the house, Paige discovers a locked drawer in a cabinet. She realizes only Graham could have locked it, making her suspicious. Around the same time, Graham looks into his neighbor's window and is shocked to see Mark, his close friend, has also turned into a zombie. Panicked, Graham rushes back inside and locks all doors and windows, unable to face the idea of killing someone he once cared about. Back inside, Paige explodes in frustration. They've been trapped for 3 weeks, and their food and water are almost gone. When another helicopter flies overhead, Paige runs outside waving a red flag, desperately trying to get noticed. But the helicopter passes without seeing her. She returns inside, crushed and hopeless. Determined to force Graham to face reality, Paige comes up with a bold plan. She hands him a sword and sarcastically says that if life has turned into a game, then he should play it properly. She challenges him to kill his zombie friend Mark before Mark kills him. Realizing she's serious, Graham reluctantly agrees. As Graham goes outside to confront Mark, Paige takes the sword and nearly strikes Marie, but she freezes. Her heart won't allow it. She retreats inside, overwhelmed with guilt, and breaks down in tears. She tells Graham she feels dead inside. He tries to comfort her, explaining that he once felt the same way but now believes life is peaceful without people, responsibilities, or pressure. Paige listens silently, knowing he is deluding himself. Their conversation is interrupted by zombies attacking the house. Graham fights them off with the sword, killing several, but the experience clearly disturbs him. He doesn't enjoy killing, he simply wants to survive. That night, they try to forget everything by playing cards before going to bed. The next morning, Graham finally decides to retrieve the wine bottles outside. He puts on heavy protective gear, grabs a bag, and jumps over the fence. Near the bottles, he notices a young zombie by his bicycle who behaves strangely, almost playfully. Graham collects the bottles, but suddenly another zombie attacks him. He manages to kill it with his sword. Then, something even stranger happens. Graham notices a dark-skinned man standing nearby, calmly watching him. What's shocking is that this man doesn't look like a zombie at all. Graham quickly jumps back over the fence with the bag of wine bottles. However, he lands awkwardly and crashes onto them. He hides the bottles from Paige and apologizes for the mess. Later, they decide to eat together. What begins as a simple lunch turns into a romantic candlelight dinner with elegant clothes and soft lighting, as if they're pretending the apocalypse doesn't exist at all. The next day, Graham sits down to paint while Paige excitedly works on a small invention in the kitchen, hoping to impress him. When she shows it to him, Graham doesn't seem interested. Clumsy as always, Paige accidentally ruins her own creation and angrily throws it into the trash outside. While doing so, she notices something strange. The trash bin, untouched for 3 weeks, contains several unfamiliar items. Carefully checking it while staying alert for zombies, she brings the contents inside. To her shock, the bin is filled with instructional pamphlets dropped by rescue helicopters. Graham had been secretly collecting and hiding them from her. Furious, Paige finally realizes how much information he has been keeping from her. Suddenly, a zombie climbs over the fence and attacks Paige. She screams for Graham, but he doesn't hear her because he's wearing headphones while painting. Left with no choice, Paige fights the zombie on her own and manages to kill it. Covered in blood, she washes her hands and storms inside, confronting Graham with one of the pamphlets. Graham insists that leaving the house is far too dangerous. He explains that the nearest rescue team is 5 buildings away and the path is filled with zombies. He firmly believes staying home is their safest option. Paige forces a smile, but her frustration grows. That night, Paige once again tries to signal a rescue helicopter using a flashlight from the garden. She stays awake until morning, but no one responds. Exhausted and defeated, she returns inside. Soon after, the electricity, gas, and water suddenly shut off. Paige feels they've reached the end, but Graham remains optimistic. He reassures her that they still have stored food, fruit, and water. He even starts a generator, but it only works for 10 hours. That night, they eat dinner by candlelight again, not out of romance this time, but necessity. The following day, Graham continues painting, deeply absorbed, while Paige listens to a live police broadcast on the radio. The officer explains how survivors should signal rescue helicopters so they aren't mistaken for zombies. Paige carefully prepares everything, spreads a red cloth on the ground, and waves a yellow one. But still, no one notices her. Moments later, the radio batteries die, crushing her last bit of hope. The next morning, Paige cleans the house, scrubbing away dried blood from the zombies they killed. When she hears a helicopter, she rushes outside, only to realize the signaling equipment is missing. She immediately knows Graham hid it. Inside the house, she finds him putting it away in the closet. Enraged, she insists on leaving to find help, but Graham refuses. In anger, she throws an orange at him and reveals that she already sent their location to the rescue teams. When Graham steps outside briefly, he notices his zombie friend Mark trying to escape his house. He locks the door from the outside. Seizing this moment, Paige grabs her belongings, fights through nearby zombies, opens the gate, and leaves. When Graham returns, he finds the house empty. Suddenly, Paige bursts back inside, holding a hammer, warning him that zombies have invaded the area. They cautiously open the door together, only to find a massive group of zombies trying to break in. One of the zombies forces Graham into a deadly situation, and for the first time, he kills it without hesitation. Realizing there's no other option, Graham tells Paige they must escape immediately. But then he notices something horrifying. Paige has been bitten on the shoulder. He tries to convince himself it's just a wound and administers the vaccine, but Paige begins feeling intense pain and burning throughout her body. Knowing what's coming, she apologizes for everything and tells Graham she loves him. Her face grows pale, dark circles form under her eyes, and Graham breaks down. He knows the truth. She is turning. The next morning, Paige wakes up fully transformed into a zombie and attacks Graham. He backs away, holding his sword defensively, unable to hurt her and still hoping for a cure. As they try to escape, they realize they're completely surrounded. Paige attacks again, leaving Graham no choice. With tears in his eyes, he kills her. Moments later, the front door opens. A woman enters with the mysterious dark-skinned man Graham had seen earlier. At first, Graham believes they are rescuers, but he quickly realizes they are criminals. Even though the woman knows Graham isn't a zombie, she shoots him in the head without hesitation. Graham dies beside the body of his wife. And that is how the movie ends. This movie is not just about zombies. It is about fear, control, and the danger of hiding from reality. Graham believes that staying inside his house is true safety. He avoids the outside world, avoids risk, and avoids change. To him, isolation feels peaceful. But in reality, his fear slowly turns into control, and that control destroys the person he loves most. Paige represents hope, growth, and survival through action. She understands that danger exists everywhere, but she also knows that doing nothing is the most dangerous choice of all. When Graham hides the rescue messages, he doesn't protect her. He steals her freedom and her chance to survive. The biggest moral is this: you cannot survive by hiding forever. Fear makes people selfish, blind, and destructive. This story warns us that comfort can be more dangerous than chaos. Love without honesty becomes control, and refusing to change is the fastest way to lose everything. In the end, Graham wanted safety, but safety without courage became his prison. Paige wanted life, and she paid the price for his fear. Sometimes stepping outside is the only way to stay alive. So that's it. I hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more video.